Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fatu Network News Review. Today, 1st October 2018, I am Omar Wali. I'm here in the studios with my colleague Frederick Tandy of BBC Africa. We'll be talking about the oil, the Samlex, and as well as we had a vox pop with the people about social media. Is it a curse or a blessing to the country? But before all that, I will start with the standard newspaper. Dabo says disunity could destroy UDP gains. That is the Secretary General of the United Democratic Party has warned his supporters that disunity and petty talks are destroying the Yellow Party. The party is grappling with cracks in our unity, and our enemies are going to take advantage of the disunity in the party. If we fail to make a stop to immediately, Mr. Dabo told the supporters in Banjul during the celebration of 22nd September 1996 Denton Bridge ambush of UDP convoy. Dabo reminded his supporters that their enemies can only harvest from their disunity. We'll also have a clip on that on the news review. Barrow secured $900 million for TRRC for from the United Nations. That is during his participation at the United Nations General Assembly. President Adama Barrow has managed to raise over $900 million from the United Nations for the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission and the general peace building in the country. According to a brief statement posted on the State House Facebook page, the President held a bilateral meeting with United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres at his office in New York, where it was revealed that the United Nations has approved $20 million for the Gambia to support peace-building efforts and truth and reconciliation process currently underway in the country. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the Truth TRRC, Baba Gale Jallo, has countered this report, saying that he did not receive the TRRC has not been informed or received any of these things, and he said the information is inaccurate and misleading. I spoke to the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Office of the President, Ami Bojan Susoho, but said this story is accurate and is not misleading. We will only deal with the GTU. That's President Barrow said that, teachers are on strike, and they laid down some conditions saying that the government have to meet those demands or else they are not going back to classrooms. But President Barrow has weighed in into the current standoff between a section of teachers under the name Teachers for Change, TFC, and the government over a planned strike. The TFC has threatened to go on strike unless the demand for better pay and conditions are met. However, the meeting with the Vice President Ousainou Darboe, the teachers were told that they could face a sack if they fail to report back to their schools by September 28, since government has addressed the matter with their recognized umbrella body, the Gambia Teachers Union. Commenting on the issue on arrival at the Banjul International Airport from the United Nations on Saturday, President Barrow said government will not change its stand, and this is the way they are only going to deal with the Gambia Teachers Union. I think we must not abuse our newfound democracy by just getting up and doing anything we feel like. We must all follow the due process, President Barrow told journalists at Banjul International Airport. Officials expect 1,200,000 tourists as first flights arrive today. That is the first batch of tourists in the new season will arrive today at the Banjul International Airport on FTI and TUI tourist operators. The visitors are mainly from Russia and Holland. The tourism official said over 52 flights will be bringing tourists to the Gambia from the new places around Europe. GRA closes GIA Kairaba branch, that is the Gambia Revenue Authority, has ordered the closure of the Kairaba Avenue official of the national carrier, that's the Gambia International Airline. The Standard has landed yesterday, that was Sunday, and the sources said the closure has to do with a non-tax compliance. An official from the Gambia Revenue Authority said the closure is temporary until GIA fulfills its tax obligation, failure of which could lead to a lawsuit. The Standard tried without success for comment from GIA. That's what we have for you on the Standard newspaper. On the point, Bissau Guinean arrested with cocaine at Banjul International Airport. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency of the Gambia, DLEAG, have arrested one Birano bureau of a Guinea-Bissau national with suspected cannabis at Banjul International Airport. The Point has been informed. The spokesperson of the Drug Law Enforcement, Osman Sediba, has confirmed the development to the Point reporter. The suspect, he said, was arrested with 104 pellets, which was concealed in a small hand luggage, black in color, at the airport. The suspect is currently under the custody as investigation into the matters continues. Barrow says Africa deserves a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. His Excellency President Barrow has said that a key message for African head of state, including himself, at the 73rd Ordinary Session of the United Nations General Assembly, is that Africans want to be well represented at the United Nations, equally as the Security Council. Speaking to reporters at Banjul International Airport upon his return from the United Nations over the weekend, the president said his trip was a good one and the summit was well attended. Young people consumed by the social media, that is, the governor of West Coast region said for the second time in a row during his engagement with young people, the governor Bakari Sanya of West Coast region challenged the country's active brains to consider engaging themselves to their life, themselves into productive enterprise that can bring change to their lives and the country, and stop casting unjustifiable blames on the government for the country's social problems. Today, he said, our young people are too consumed by social media, which is taking a great number of their times and should be put in a useful engagement to develop themselves into responsible adults. Governor Sanyan told young people at the end of the event commemorating the International Youth Day in Brikama last week. The Point also is reporting that GRA closes GI office around Kairaba Avenue. On the Foreign newspaper, Teachers for Change meet Ombudsman and Vice President. As we reported, the Teachers for Change met the Vice President last week, and the Foreign newspaper is reporting that they also met the Ombudsman. And the Banjul National Assembly member for Banjul North, Honorable Osman Silla, tours prison police facilities in his constituency. This include Mile 2 State Central Prison. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you on the newspapers. Before I come to my guests, we will take a short report where we sample the opinions of people about the social media. Some said it's a blessing, some said it's a cause to our newfound freedom. So our Mariam Sise have been out and spoke to a few people about their opinion on the social media. So let's take a listen to it.
South Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets, and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GT Bank, EcoBank, and Trust Bank.
Yeah, actually, social media, the way Gambian people are acting on it, I think is a harm to the society, because if you look at the social media, it brings more problem to the society, even in terms of like this regional inflation and other tribalism also. You know, people are taking this social media, insulting people and others. I think that is not right. So social media is here to help us. So I think that social media is bringing a harmful damage to our society.
The government should do something about that.
Yeah, of course, government should have control on it. But I remember the former government, they have maybe 75% of control on it. So now these people live everything like a democracy. But Africa, if we want to use 100% democracy, I don't think that things will work. Sometimes you have to make maybe 65% democracy. The next 25 you can use it as strict words. Yeah.
Well, social media has its advantages and disadvantages. But as far as I am concerned, it has more disadvantages to us Gambians than the advantage, because you don't know how to use it. So I'm advising the government to put a regulation to it so that people will be safe, because social media is bringing a lot of discontention to people, a lot of the things that you cannot understand. Definitely, people are misusing it anyway, mostly.
In the past, it was not about the social media also, but people were disciplined. People were disciplined. Children know where they should be, and elders also know where they should be. So respect to each other. But this is lacking. Even without the social media, people don't have respect. People don't have respect. And the social media also is good to be for it to be controlled. But the measures also, I think people are the custodians of coming together to get their own understanding on how to discipline people who abuse this social media.
I think the social media, to my opinion, is a very good platform, and it helps people to connect each other. It helps people to discover new things, and also it creates awareness, both for those that can read, and also for those that don't have the ability to read and write. But those that do their videos or their interview on their various local languages, to also create awareness. To me, the social media has a lot of advantages, depending on the way you use it, because it is an open platform, whereas most of the time it's not restricted. So being the case, it's up to the individual to know how best you can use the social media. It could be disadvantageous, it could be advantageous, but to me, the social media has played a very big role in the Gambia, particularly in recent time.
Replace your 3G SIM card today for the Real Africell 4G SIM and receive 1 gigabyte of internet data for free.
Divergent views there on the use of social media. Some said it's good, others said it's bad. Now I will turn to my guest, Frederick Chandy. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Omar.
Frederick is a journalist. He works for BBC Africa and covers Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau. Fred, let's start with the oil. What do you make of it? Is it good for this country? As far as you know, what can you tell us about this? Because whenever we have seen countries, in Nigeria, for example, there's a problem. Ken Sarayu and others were executed. Some said it's a cause, some said it's a blessing. So how good is this oil to the Gambia that we are all talking about?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Omar. Oil is a blessing for the Gambia, because first and foremost, oil normally is supposed to bring us wealth, sure, money, and happiness. So it all depends on how our political leaders and the governance of this country are going to manage the oil, that's the natural wealth God has blessed the Gambia with, and how beneficial it is going to be to the country. That is, we all know that Gambia is a poor country.
Right.
We have to rely on foreign countries and foreign investors for the exploitation of that oil. How far are we going to be involved in that process, and what benefits are we going to get? That's where the whole line is. Mm-hmm. So my only worry is that as we speak, you have the A2 and A5 blocks that have been awarded to FAR Limited, Erin Energy and Petronas. Yeah. Gambia government has no share. Okay. FAR Limited has 40%, Petronas 40%, Erin 20%. That makes it 100%.
And the Gambia?
So the Gambia has 0%, meaning these investors would come. Actually, they have gone a step further in the exploration, because they have done the 3D seismic tests. Mm-hmm. They have interpreted them. They have given them to reputable and known companies in the oil industry. Such to make well. These are companies that are there that are hired by FAR and the consortium to have the results interpreted, and based on that, it has been submitted to investors. From there, you have Petronas that have come, and now the next step is drilling for test. Yeah. So they are going to drill a well to see really if what they are going to find in is exactly the same thing with what they have estimated or what they have projected based on the result they got from the 3D seismic test and the interpretation. So actually that's the next process. But for sure it's going to be very conclusive, because the Gambia oil field, actually the A2 blocks and the A5 are adjacent to the Senegalese oil field that is called SNE, where FAR already has shares with KN Energy, with Senegalese national petroleum company, Petrosen, but equally with another company that is Woodside Petroleum. So far is already there. It's just like in a fence, you have a well, down you have water, somebody digs a well here, and then you cross the fence, somebody else digs a well aside. So
no, before you go further, what does this mean for the Gambia? Because, for example, Senegal, they have a share.
Senegal has a share.
Why is it Gambia not having a share in any of these things?
That's the $1 trillion question, Omar. That's the $1 trillion question, because when you have shares in the process, when you have share in a block, you have a say. Whatever process is moving on or is developing, you have a say, you participate in the discussions, at least you attend and you know what is going on. But currently, the Gambia, that's why people are surprised that only far limited and others are communicating on things. The Gambia government cannot communicate on things they don't know because they have no share. So these people are using their money, they are going into exploration, they are going into their process, they can only communicate and tell Gambia government what they are on, what they are in, but the Gambia government cannot say anything, absolutely. So that's the big problem we have, and that's the worry we have, because our own expectation now is that these companies maybe pay taxes, give us small, contracts on whatever they want to give us, but directly from the oil is going to be very, very difficult.
So now, I think this oil is a very complicated issue. So was this part of the reasons why Jammeh was kind of push and pulling with some of these people behind this oil exploration and so on?
I can tell you that there is practically no difference between Jammeh and these people. Sometimes I'm surprised when people say Jammeh defended the oil thing more. Because Jammeh also, when he gave blocks, Gambia government didn't have any share. We actually at the same level. The only way is to have at least a small part of the small part in shares of the blocks, that is at least 10 to 15%, and that's how you are in it. Because mark my word, Omar, these companies that are actually doing the exploration are called juniors. Actually, you have small companies that go for the 3D, you have juniors that come in. Now, if they go for the drilling, if it becomes conclusive, and I have no doubt that it's going to become conclusive, because actually, I'll give you a tip. Oil is made of deposits, sediment deposits, that are under the waters for billions of years. If you look at Senegal, where you have their oil field, you have small rivers like the Sine, Saloum, and so on. And by our side, we have the Gambia River that is bigger than those small rivers. So the sediment deposit is going to be much more important, and you have much more quality and quantity oil. So for sure, it's going to be conclusive. The next step you'll have is these companies will show that actually this is what we have in our blocks. And you have major companies, they call them majors in the oil industry, the likes of Shell, the likes of Total, and so they will come. And those people, when they come, they always come in full force with money and everything. And if your government is ill prepared in terms of resisting corruption, resisting lobbying, and so on, we are in trouble.
Now, we have 0% as far as How long will it take Gambia to benefit? Because someone told me it might take Gambia will not even benefit for over 10 years when they start drilling this.
Obviously, that's my worry. I'm afraid we might not have anything in those blocks.
In first 10 years, we might have anything.
No, we might be able to bargain because we don't have a leverage actually. We might our leverage is next to zero, because if we had shares, we would have been able to say, okay, this process cannot move on because we will block it if we cannot, we don't have this share or this and that and that. We don't have that. Now, actually, what we can do is go behind these companies and say, okay, we want our youth to be trained, we want some contracts to be given, but we are not even prepared. Like our workforce is not a workforce that is ready to work with the oil industry. I understand that the Gambia government has done some steps, but personally, at some point, I introduced the Ministry of Higher Education with a Norwegian, and the process has gone a bit further. Actually, to see how cooperation can happen between NORAD, that's the Norwegian cooperation agency, with our government, to see what they can do. And I understand it is definitely going further, but that is not enough, because if they want, for example, to use welders for pipes and so on, it's not the type of welding we do here that is going to be used there. So it's going to be definitely a specific workforce that we don't have.
So everything will be brought
every time the government will be going to bargain, and they will give us the little they feel like giving us. So the lesson we can draw here is that other blocks, I understand, are available.
the story we introduced earlier was the United Democratic Party on Saturday celebrated the 22nd anniversary of on the 22nd of September 1996, the United Democratic Party supporters were coming from the Combos heading to Banjul, and their convoy was ambushed at Denton Bridge. Some people, UDP supporters, were assaulted, and some, according to the UDP leader, lost their life as a result of that thing. So we will listen to a clip of that, and Karamo Jadama, the regional chairperson of United Democratic Party in North Bank region, spoke at the event, and this is what he had to say.
From nowhere.
Mune ngabo nga joge from nowhere.
Ita audio.
Nga dem ci audio.
Ibe Usain Dabo banen.
Mune nga sakande Usain Dabo. Nga saka bayam.
Adam Baro banen.
Mune da nga sakande Adam Baro. Di saka bayam.
Ibe banko di kendo.
Mune doomi rew yu ba yeb nga lay sakande. Nga lay sakande. Mune nga saka kilifa yi. Mune amul ben risine. mu ne loolu suñu ko bàyyul mu ne yéen njiit yi mu bàyyi leen ko mu ne danañ ko génne boo xamante ne mu ne loo xamante du neex dëgg la nee na am na yu néew yi fa nekk am mu ne mi nga xamante ne weeru yu néew yi am na yu xeew mu ne moom xalaatam bu doy bi mu ne xalaatam bu tuuti bi loolu la bëggoon a wone ci nit ñi di ko wone ne mu ne loolu warta am soo nekk APRC ñun ñu ngi UDP yaa ngi APRC mu ne naxar bi nga am mu ne naxar bi nga am yow mu ne kenn tekkul la mu ne kenn tekkul la yow yaa tekk loolu sa bopp ak doxal yàlla bi ak seen jëf ji ak seen jikko bi mu ne naxari boobu su nekk si sa xalaat wala sa xol yow xamuloo noo ko mën a génne mu ne nga jóg benn guddi nga jóg nga dem ci audio nga saaga soose di saaga seen ndey ak seen baay amul benn régime amul fa defuñu la dara waxuñu la dara mu ne ndax ñu nekk UDP rek mu ne lii li doy na waaru de mu ne naxar na muñ lool mu ne neexuta muñ sax day mi nga xamante ne mooy laaj seen mu ne saaga bi moo saaga ci soose yi mu ne waxul UDP su ne UDP mu ne xeet yëpp a ci nekk waaye dafa taana xeet yi di ko soose yi mu ne mu ne xanaa waxtu bi mu wax ci wax bi moom mu ne dafa mandi wala ndax soose ak soose mu ne ndax soose ak mandi ko ndax duñ benn xanaa time boobu dafa mandi di dugg ci nit ñi di saaga nit ñi mu ne mbir mi mu ne loolu mu ne mu ngi ci code man xaw ma lu ma mujjee waaye dina oo inspecteur général of police di oo justice ministers mu ne li code la boo xamante ne mu ne amul benn sende amul benn mbir sende mu ne am nañu reçu mu ne ñu ubbi ñu déglu ko jooje bu kii bu nekk code am na tamit mu ubbi mu déglu ko mu laaj seen lu mu wax mu ne loolu kay amul jaru oo seeda.
Well, that was Karamo Jadama there speaking at the commemoration of the 1996 September ambush on UDP supporters. I'm going to continue with Mr. Tending. Frederick Tending is a journalist. He's a correspondent for BBC Africa, and he covers Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau. The Samlex issue, ID card. They said they will start issuing on the 1st of October, and but the transparency is one thing, but the pricing, some say it is $450 because they said it's going to be $450. Too much. What is your take on that?
Well, if you look at the earnings of the average Gambian, it's expensive because some people get less than $2,000 as a salary. I think in the police of recent, after they added transport allowances, when some of them got $2,500, $2,000. But you have in other spheres where you have people have around 1,700 and so on. If you buy a bag of rice, $1,200, you want to go for an ID card, it's trouble. And we know, general, that when you go for the ID card, sometimes you have to give tips left and right, $50, $100. So you have a lot of Gambians who would not be able to, who can't afford it. So that's going to be completely tough for many people to get the ID cards. And the funny thing is that now that the process is going to be launched, you'll very soon have checkpoints everywhere asking people, where's your ID card? That's a way to put pressure to people for them to go and look for an ID card. So
two things here. The price is too much and the checkpoint will be another thing. So put quite simply, time should be at least given to people. At least 6 months, how much time do you think should be given to acquire these ID cards?
One thing we are not yet sure, is how fast are you going to have the ID cards delivered? Okay. That we don't know. Because this company has a lot of issues about, you know, could you believe, Omar, when they met the Gambia government for the first time, or for the second time, they had a meeting sometimes around, I think, June. They discussed with them, and the government didn't even know what type of equipment they have, you know, how reliable they are. They had another meeting where when they submitted, you know, all the technology they have and everything, the Gambia government has to ask Samlex to adjust, to pass from SQL to Oracle. That is, these are the basic things you do in technology. You know, they were using SQL. The SQL, that is, you and I can hack the system and get it. Government has to say, we don't want this, we want Oracle. We want more reliable firewalls and so on. So we don't know, as of today, how far Samlex has gone to adjust itself. We don't know how fast are they going to deliver. We don't know what is going to be done with people who already applied for ID cards long ago, before the process got stopped. What is going to be done? That stock is going to be cleared and so on. So we don't know. And that can dictate the pace Gambians need to get ID cards before stiffer controls come on roads and everywhere to say, show your ID card. A lot of Gambians don't have ID card as we speak.
So you're talking about stiffer control, police checkpoint asking people ID card, but others also are saying there are so many non-Gambians who acquire Gambian documents, and instead of putting measures in place, for example, I can just take my voter's card, even if I'm not a Gambian, and they will issue that one to me. Is that also not something a concern?
That is something this government inherited. I guess we have the know-how, we have the human resource to audit and check it. In certain countries, it is done on a regular basis. People go to the national data, audit the ID cards, the passport and everything. It's not difficult to be done now. Know who got it, whether he got it on the right way, can he get it again when he comes for renewal and so on. So that should not be a problem. But again, it depends on the company that is going to do the job.
Okay, we talk about the auditing. Somebody is asking the validity, but what the Interior Minister said was the ID card will be valid for 5 years. We know that. But another thing also, someone told me, a National Assembly member said, Gambia's population is approximately 2 million, 1.7, 1.8 million people. But he said, if you look at the number of people who voted in an election, is over 800,000 people. He said, these are the real ones if you minus people under 18. What do you make of that too?
It tells you that, you know, the number of people who would go for those documents are not that much as it is projected, but not the 2.2 million people are going to get ID cards. Not at all. So you have something. But what is interesting here is that Samlex got a contract not only for ID cards, but for other documents. For other documents, you have driver's license, you have birth certificates, you have death certificates, I think marriage certificates, and so on. So you have a lot of documents that are there that can come and add to the revenue that will come from those ID cards. But again, the process depends all in Samlex. What technology do they have to do that? How fast are they going to deliver? How many people do they have to do the job at the delivery points or at the places where they apply for ID cards?
Viewers, we will take a short break. Let me have a water for him, and as soon as we come back, we'll continue with the song.
Bim Tangon, Bim Naharon, UDP Benarek Lanyo, Musno Degadara, Sibir UDP, Waitei, Young Sissi Negi Baner, yëpp UDP bu tas
ako UDP def na teel
bu ñu ko nangu
ako wala kana somala
ñu suñ defee loolu
ako ni nga ke o ñamana
bon solo sanden lim deyam bi dafa naka zéro
ako ni nga ke o ñamana solo sanden ñu la sayalu wala be kana zéro
Combo Central
ako Combo Central
Brikama
Brikama
jen je seede ngeen
ako aliya o seede
Alhaji Karamo Touré
ako Alhaji Karamo Touré
Pasan Sansane
Pasan Sansane
Malang Khalifa Diatta ak yeneen kilifa si biir Brikama Sadio Kunjang
ako Sadio Kunjang
lu leen dal yéen waa Brikama yéen xam ngeen ko
ako men keta wala ko Brikama ko yewolonde
bon yéen waa Brikama yéen na war a gën a téye UDP
ako wada tolo UDP Brikama ko tolo UDP
Beno si biir waa Brikama ñoo gën a war a téye seen bopp ñu support UDP to the hilt
ako kilimba kiliya o mo be ñu nakarna Brikama ko la ek kilinde ala UDP
soo leen ko defut
ako naal ma ke o ñama
bon boo leen tasee Alhaji Karamo Touré allahira di ngeen ruus
ako naan ne ala Karamo Touré bi la akhira albe mollo de
Combo South
ako Combo South
yéen
ako tolu
yéen a war a jàppa UDP
ako tolu la ñu ta UDP mu dala
xam ngeen lu dal Ismaila Manjang
ako ali yalla ne men keta Ismaila Manjang
ci kaw lan
ako mun kamara
ne UDP la
ko UDP ko lam
ñu yóbbu ko
ko ya samba
bi mu waree ba pare ñu yóbbu ko
ako kabiri ya samba
fu ñu ko yóbbu
ako ya samba dame
ak lu ñu fa def
ani men kala
kenn du taxaw ci ndaje bu mel ni nga waa yooyu
la ko ako mo do sila jama ko ñu ñombe sifa yow be lan kene ma xane
waaye bi loolu yëpp amee
ako bar kabiri be sorota
taxut UDP shake
ako matina UDP mu takko
taxut waa UDP di wax ne lii ak li musta am
ako man solo UDP ka ko ten mo man solo
bon tey
ako woto bi
su fekkee ñu ngi wax ne nguur UDP moo am Gambia
ako ni ko UDP ma sakundara be solo la Gambia
loolu lañ wax
ako ko wala fo
ñu ne Ousainou Darboe moo ci nekk vice président
ko Ousainou Darboe wala mo vice président
Amadou Sané ministre
Amadou Sané keto ministre
Lamine Darboe ministre Lamine Diba ministre
Lamine Diba keto ministre
Adja Mariam Dentin speaker
Adja Mariam Dentin keto speaker
ay ambassadeur
ani ambassadeur
bon li nguuri UDP la
ako do UDP
loolu lañ de loolu lañ de wax
ako ka wala fo
bon loolu war naa tax
ako bari wasatina
ñun UDP
ntol UDP ko
ñu tiyente
nga ñomuta
ñu daaxa wax ju sew bi nekk ci biir parti bi
parti o fon ko sa
bi ñu doon struggle
ako kabiri be struggle len
amuñ wax ju sew
ako di am sen tije
léegi
ako say
ñu ngi gis ne UDP a ngi dem fu mu bugga
mba jega ko sa UDP fo la ko tan dem abi futaka njin
ñu ngi is wax ju sew ci biir parti bi
welcome back viewers. Apologies for that short hiccups there. My guest had some issues with the voice there. Let's continue with the Samlex issue. Another worry about among many Gambians is that this is a foreign company and the country's data from like licensing, the birth certificate, the ID card, and everything is going to them. Is that a genuine concern as far as Samlex is concerned?
It's indeed a genuine concern, Omar. Specifically, considering the way this contract has been awarded to Samlex. In March 2016, a draft contract was signed with Samlex, but without a legal advice to that effect. And then on February 2016, before that is on February 2016, you have a ministerial task force. You remember the minister those days made it public to Gambians that a ministerial task force was set up and so on. So after that, you have the contract that was drafted, but without any legal advice. Yeah. And then a subcommittee was formed to decide on this. And in June, that was when they had the meeting I was telling you, when the subcommittee decided to tell Samlex, look, you are doing an offer, but we are not sure about your technology, how reliable it is. And this is in line with what the concerns you're raising. Yeah. This is about the personal data of Gambians that are going to be given to a foreign company and so on. Given the fact already that Samlex had issues where Interpol is involved and so on, and these are criminal issues in other countries already. And then sometimes around August, the Secretary General conveyed an executive letter saying that the Gambia government is going into contract with Samlex. But some months later, that is August, the same Secretary General conveyed another letter to say the contract should be terminated. Okay. And this brought a whole mess in the system. The Ministry of Interior sought legal advice, and then the Solicitor General in return, and that was done. It was fast track. Those who know the process, how it went in those days, can attest to what I'm telling you. It went very fast. Solicitor General was very responsive to say, okay, if you want to terminate the contract with Samlex, this is how you do it, and we won't have any problem. Unfortunately, the Minister of Interior terminated the contract without giving any reason as to why Samlex contract was to be terminated. So Samlex cried foul, and they were right. So it was a push and pull. The boss of Samlex wrote a letter to say, okay, this is a problem to us, because already, since you said you approve our contract, we were ready to invest, and we have already spent about $100,000 US, not 100 million US dollars. Remember, that's the excuse the then Minister of Interior used to say, if we don't go back to the contract with Samlex, we will pay 100 million US dollars, and it was never 100 million US dollars. It was just 100,000 US dollars. There again, the government sought advice from legal luminaries in this country. Those people say, okay, the contract with Samlex, we found it there, and when we found it there, even there was an issue with during Jammeh time.
Jammeh and Osman Sonko.
Yes,
I understand that their problem started with Samlex.
Exactly.
When the contract was given, when these people brought the proposal, Osman Sonko looked at it and said, even a madman will not sign this.
But he signed it.
No, but he did not sign. According to Jammeh, that contract was signed.
Usman signed it. I have the contract.
Okay.
He signed it.
Okay.
And the issue came into a cabinet meeting when they were talking about Samlex. Jammeh asked, who is Samlex? Sure. You know, so he signed it, actually. So the government inherited from that. So the contract was duly signed even during Jammeh time. And that's the legal luminaries of this country, of the Gambia, advised the government to say, look, this was not properly done. So if you terminate it like you did, without giving any explanation, it puts us in a very weak position. Notwithstanding, we can still go ahead and terminate it. And that is not too much to ask. It can be done in our Gambian courts. The only thing we can do is discuss to have an amicable solution with Samlex and return the $100,000 US dollars. That is possible. Samlex in those days were ready for that. Now, Omar, something funny happened in between. Nobody knew where a U-turn happened until somebody somewhere decided that it has to be Samlex.
But like the Justice Minister and others said, if they terminate the contract, you just lay down everything, but they will pay more money, so it's easier for them to continue with Samlex than
that's a cheap excuse. That's a cheap excuse. We are still waiting for them, because always that's what they'll tell you. They will tell you that we are going to pay more. Yeah. Tell us the facts. Tell us that this is the implication. We owe them this amount. We pay them. But what we have always, Omar, they will tell us we will pay more. We don't know how much they are going to pay and how much they owe to Pristine, that was, for example, here. We don't know. So they will just tell you like that. How can we buy that? You cannot. Let them give us facts. Give us... You know, Omar, we have a problem in this country. Contracts are never public. Yeah. You don't know anything in the contract. So the only thing you can rely on is them telling you, this is what is in, this is what is there. If you look at the past contract of Samlex, as I said, this one, new one, I have started getting some small, some small leaks from there, and it's shameful. Okay. It's the content. For example, here they will tell you that the government is barred from interfering with any third party Samlex would choose as as investor or a partner or any other thing. Like the government will not have a right to be there, and there is a provision in the same contract that the contract, that is the duration of the contract, should not be tampered with, even if there is any government change. Why would somebody like you and I, a sensible person, sign a contract like that?
Put quite simply, we understand the contract might be over straight to 5 years or so, but they are saying, you mean even if there is a government change faulted or whatever, that contract.
You know why Samlex did that?
No.
Samlex is taking into account the experience they have in Madagascar, in Congo, in Ghana, where they have always issues, because they will not do the job properly. The data is going to be, it can leak everywhere. You'll have passports that are done, out of the normal, unofficial channel, and people would shout our passports outside everywhere in the world. And then when you want to cancel the contract, it is not difficult because they are at fault. Now here, they are shielding, they are putting a fence around everything to say, even if this and that happen, the contract should not be terminated.
Interesting. Now, you spend most time in Senegal. You know how much does an ID card cost in Senegal?
5,000 francs. It was free of charge.
Yes.
At some point, they realized that Senegalese will wait until election comes.
Okay.
That's the moment you have a rush. Okay. And when you have the rush, it is a problem for the government to deliver both the ID card and the voter's card. And people since it's free, people are taking it for granted. They decided it should be now 5,000. And that's how it works. But otherwise, this is not a difficult piece. But if you consider 5,000 in this, considering the revenue, the average Senegalese revenue, 5,000 is absolutely.
How much is 5,000 in dollars?
5,000 should be $410.
410. So like $40 in difference.
Yes, difference.
But you're talking about the earning capacity of a Gambian.
Exactly. That is completely Senegal. If you tell them $450, that people use that to buy, absolutely nothing. It's nothing.
Now, if you had to suggest, how much do you think the price should start from?
I think the original price here was $250.
200.
That's not a bad price.
Yeah.
And considering equally the fact that in this new contract you have a 60-40 revenue sharing. Samlex will go with 60 and the Gambia government 40.
Because when I did the calculation last time, every 100,000 ID cards, voters ID cards rather, it will cost like $45 million. If every 100,000 Gambians are issued with ID card, it's like 450 million. Sorry.
Now you add the birth certificates and all other documents that are going to be done by Samlex. You're talking about a lot of money.
Millions.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the hiring of the judges.
Well,
this was Barrow has been lambasted for the government said they don't have money and they inherited an empty coffers. A few weeks down the line, they said they appealed to the international community to assist them, but the president was seen on board a chartered flight.
This again is a display. It's a public display of the contradictions this government is actually, putting right in before the eyes of Gambians every day. You can't ask for the international community to come to your help because you are afraid that food insecurity may be in your country. And then the next minute your president hires a jet and fly around the world with a private jet. Yeah. That doesn't tell well. And some months ago we were told that the Gambia debt is about 130% of our GDP problem. We also had, remember Omar, Gambia is on the staff monitor program with the IMF and World Bank because we are so indisciplined in handling our budget, in how we spend from our how to call it with regards to our budget. And the IMF decided that they should assist us, they should support us. The last meeting was, I think, in March. It was a bit conclusive. They say, okay, we've done a lot of progress. Unfortunately, it's like, people said, okay, since we have that good, appreciation by IMF, remember from April to July, you had those figures that leaked or that were published about people travel expenses and so on.
Sure.
They thought that everything was okay. It is not. Now, that staff monitor program from IMF is what is going. Actually, I guess they might be in this country. There will be a review that will decide from there to now what has been done, and if from there we can get a credit facility. And that's the reason why you have this travel ban and everything. So this private jet hiring doesn't tell well for us, for the donor community, but equally for the bilateral, our bilateral partners that are helping the Gambia to get out from the economic mess that we went through over the past years.
Is this going to have an effect on the Brussels and the pledges made there and so on the Gambia?
Definitely, it will. It will impact. Omar, if you have money, you want to help me, and you realize that I travel too much, that I hire private jets, that I display total indiscipline in spending my money, I think you will reconsider your position in helping me.
That's right.
And it is more a real and a truth when it comes to these donor partners and the donor community. That's how it works.
Finally, Frederick, what will be your final message?
Well, my message is for you. You're doing very well. Yeah, you've done very well, and you can see the program improving on a daily basis. And I think we should continue supporting you.
Thank you.
And the social network, people might criticize this, like I saw in the Vox Populi.
Yeah.
But we are on air thanks to the social network.
Right, right.
I think people should stop castigating the social network. We need it. People should be educated about how to make the best use of it. And the social network is here to stay.
Right.
We either accept it or not. And that's the medium where Gambians and a lot of people in this country can express themselves. It's difficult, for example, to get somebody from Basse come here to a radio station and talk, but from his social network he can make his opinion. So it's just a matter of education, and that's all. Yeah. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you so much, viewers. That is Frederick Tanding, BBC correspondent, BBC Afrique, not BBC Afrique, BBC Afrique, right?
BBC Afrique,
the French service, BBC Afrique. He covers Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you today. From me, Omar Wali, and my crew, we thank you all. Till tomorrow.